Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce this lesson to you on the inequalities from grade 10 to grade 12, and I will give you hints on how to approach certain questions on the inequalities. And if you have questions or any suggestion, feel free to comment on this video. Please watch this video up until the end, and I hope you will enjoy this video. You will gain an understanding on the inequalities. And my name Melulek Shabalala, and I will present this lesson on the inequalities from grade 10 up to grade 12. Okay, first of all, in the inequalities, what we need to know. Okay, first of all, we need to know these basics, the inequality symbols. Okay, we have symbols in the inequalities. We have symbol number 1 means not equals to. Symbol number 2 means less than. Symbol number 3 less than or equals to. Symbol number 4 greater than. Symbol number 5 greater than or equal to. We have to know these basic symbols on the inequalities. Okay, let us move on in the inequalities now. We have what we call 5 rules for the inequalities. Remember, in and everything that you do, there are certain rules there. If in the soccer, if you want to play a soccer, first of all, before you're able to play the soccer, you need to know rules that are there in the soccer, because once you break that rule, you'll be penalized. Even the inequalities, in order for you to approach any question in the inequalities, what you need to know, these 5 rules, and we are going to discuss these important rules before you approach any problem in the inequalities, and I hope you'll enjoy. Okay, rule number 1. Say adding or subtracting any number on both sides of an inequality has no effect on the inequality sign. Meaning that if you add a number on the left side or right hand side, it has got no effect on the inequality sign. Let's look at an example for that. Okay, example based on rule number 1. As you can see, we have 2x, we have 2 plus x less than 5. This can be written as 2 plus x. If you take that 2 on the left, say on the left side, is change sign, we have negative sign, we have still less than. It means if you take add and subtract any number on the left hand side or right hand side, it has got no effect on the inequality sign. That was rule number 1. Okay, thank you. Let us move on to rule number 2 now. I hope you are okay with rule number 1. Rule number 2, it says multiplying or dividing both sides of an inequality by a positive number has got no effect on the inequality sign. Meaning that if I divide with a positive number on both sides on the inequality sign, it has got no effect. Let us look at an example for that. As you can see, I have 2x less than 5. And if I want to solve for x, then I have to divide it by what? 2 on both sides. As you can see, we have 2x less than 5 divided by 2. Then we ended up with x less than 5 or 2. It means that I divided with positive number, of which is 2 on both sides, and inequality sign remains the same. In another example there, I have 2x multiplied by 3 less than 5 multiplied by 3. I have multiplied on both sides by what? By 3 on both sides, and this has got no effect on the inequality sign. That is rule number 2. Rule number 2, if you multiply or divide by a positive number, it has got no effect on the inequality sign. Okay, let's just look at rule number 3 now. Remember, we have got 5 rules. Rule number 3. Rule number 3 says that multiplying or dividing both sides of an inequality sign by a negative number reverses or changes the inequality sign. It means that if I multiply or divide both sides of the inequality by a negative number, it means I have to change the inequality sign there. Okay, let's just look at an example on that. I have negative 2x less than 5. And now I have x greater than negative 5 divided by 2. Remember there I have to solve for x, negative 2x less than 5. It means I have to divide by minus 2 on both sides. Because I have divided in minus 2, I had negative 5. Now I'm supposed to have what now? Greater than 5. I have to change the inequality sign because I have divided by what? Negative 2. It means rule number 3, if I divide on both sides by a negative number, it means I have to change the inequality sign because I divided by what? With negative number. But in rule number 2, if I divide with positive number, the inequality sign remains the same. Wow, how nice is mathematics. Let us move on. Rule number 4 now. Okay, our rule number 4 says taking the reciprocal in an inequality sign, the inequality sign remains the same. Like this one. This is an example. If I have 2 less than 5, the inequality sign. Okay, if taking the reciprocal in an inequality sign, it reverses the inequality sign. Remember, I have 2 less than 5. Then the reciprocal of 2, 1 divided by 2, and the reciprocal of 5, 1 divided by 5. It means because I'm taking the reciprocal, it means I have to change the inequality sign. I have 2 less than 5. Now I have what? Half less than 1/5. Okay, let us look at now rule number 5, last rule now. Okay, the most important one, rule number 5. Never multiply or divide an inequality sign by a variable unless you know whether the variable is positive. Whether the variable is positive. It means when you have an inequality sign, please never divide or cross multiply whatever with a variable unless if you know exactly the sign of that variable. Why? Because dividing with a negative number changes the inequality sign as we did in rule number 3. That's why we won't be able to divide with any variable because we are not sure the inequality sign. It means cross multiplication in inequalities with a variable, it is not allowed at all. Never divide. This is our important rule, rule number 5. Let's just look at an example of rule number 5. Okay, if we have something like this one, 5 minus x divided by 2x plus 1. What we normally do in algebra, we cross multiply and solve for x. But now in the inequalities, if I have now 5 minus x divided by 2x plus 1 greater or equal to 0, one might tend to cross multiply in order to solve for x. But here, rule number 5, what is the rule number 5 say? Never multiply or cross multiply in the inequality, because it is the inequality sign. It means we don't have to cross multiply here based on rule number 5. That is the most important thing. Rule number 1 up to rule number 5 in the inequalities. Wow, how nice is mathematics. I hope you still enjoy this one. Okay, now let's just look at the approach now. How to approach problem in the inequalities. We give you hints on how to solve the inequalities. Okay, to solve an inequality like x squared greater or equal to 4, or x plus 2 divided by x minus 3, or x less or equals to 4 divided by x, etc. We use the following method. Let us follow 5 methods that you follow when you solve inequalities. Remember, you know this rule that we discussed above. Okay, hint number 1, write all the term on one side of greater or equal or less than and 0 on the other side. It means you write the number on the other side, and on the other side we have 0. Once we have 0 on the other side and we have numbers on the other side, then we are allowed to continue with that inequality. Make sure that you have 0 on one side there. Okay, now let us look at hint number 2. If the expression on the other side contains fraction, write it as one fraction by using the lowest common denominator. That is hint number 2. Then hint number 3, factorize the numerator and the denominator separately in case of the fraction. It means that before you solve the inequalities, to make sure that your equation, it is factorized. Okay, first of all, make sure that on the other side I have 0 and on the other side I have numbers. Then number 3, now make sure that on the other side you have factorized and on the other side you have 0 there. Make sure that you factorize. Okay, hint number 4, find the value of which each factor in the expression is equal to 0, because that is where we'll change. That's the most important part there. If we have fraction, we have fraction in the numerator and we have factorized fraction on the numerator, and we have factorized fraction on the denominator. Equate those fraction to 0 and solve for values that values we called the critical point. That's the most important things that will give us the sign of the inequality sign. That was our hint number 4. Okay, our last hint. Then when we did all the above from 1 up to 4, then we can hint number 5, we can determine the sign of each factor in the variance section, and hence determine the value of the inequalities when you solve the inequality. But the most important thing, at the rule from rule number 1 up to rule number 5, and this hints on how to approach the inequality sign. I hope it is clear now. Wow, how nice is mathematics? Just solve it as it is. Now let us look on examples. Now let's do some examples on how to approach this, on how to approach question on the inequality sign, then to text whether we understand this thing. I hope we enjoy this thing, the most important thing on the inequalities. Okay, just do example number 1. Stay solve for x into 1 plus 2. Okay, if you can check there, we have a number on the right hand, we have on the left hand side we have x into x plus 2 greater than 3. On the right hand side we have what? We have 3 on the other side. It means we don't need that 3. We're supposed to have numbers on the other side, and you have 0 on the other side. It means we have to simplify first so that we can get rid of these 3. Okay, if we simplify, can simplify like this one. Simplify x multiplied by x, we have x squared, and x multiplied by 2, we have to check 2x, and we add and subtract 3 on both sides, then we have what? Minus 3. Then now our hints again, we have to factorize, and then we find our factors x plus 3 and x minus 3. Then we find our critical values. How to find our critical values? Take x plus 3 and equate to 0, and x minus 1 to equate to 0, so that we can get that our critical points. Okay, we have to find our critical points. Then we got our critical point x equals to minus 3 and or x equals to 1. How did we came from? We solve x plus 3, we solve factor, there we get x equals to minus 3. And we solve x minus 1 and get our factor equal to x equal to 1. Then we have our critical values now. We need to use the number line now to find our value that we need there. Let's then use the number line to find the correct sign of the inequalities. Okay, this is our number line. How to find the number line? We have our critical values there. We have minus 3. That's why we have minus 3 on the left side because it is the smallest number. And on the right side, we have what? Positive 3. Then now we use our calculator to find the values now. Okay, from minus 3, from the left side of minus 3, you have to put any number like minus 4, minus 5, and you substitute that number instead of x there. Then we note the sign there. If we substitute there, we got our sign as positive sign. And if you choose any number between minus 3 and 1, then you substitute in our equation there. Let's say x plus 3 into x minus 1. We choose any number between minus 3 and 1. Let's just choose 0 there. If we substitute 0 instead of x there, then we substitute 0 instead of x there. Our first bracket we're going to have what? 3. And when you substitute 0, then second bracket we have what? Minus 1. It means we have 3 and minus 1. If we say 3 multiplied by minus 1, we got minus 3. We're only interested in sign. Then we got minus 3. Then you substitute minus 3 there. That's why we have minus between minus 3 and 1. Then now look at now from 1 to the right, out to the right side of 1. We can choose any number there. Let's just choose 2. When you substitute 2 in our equation there, we have 2x plus 3, that is 5. When we substitute 2 minus 1, that is 1. Then we substitute the 5 multiplied by 1, then we got what? We got 5, the positive number. That's why we have positive sign, positive number on that side from 1 to the right hand side. Okay, remember our equation, they say solve for x if x squared plus 2x minus 3 greater than 0. Means now we use our number line, we focus on our number line. Then look at that part when the whole expression greater than 0. It means we're interested on positive sign. It means from minus 3 to the left, we have positive sign, and from positive 1 to the left, we have positive sign. Then we write now the final answer are inequalities. The value of x, it is where the x less than minus 3 or x greater than 1, because we're interested in that positive signs there. This is our example 1. Wow, how nice is mathematics. Okay, are you ready for example 2? I hope you are ready. Let us move to example number 2. Okay, our example number 2 also solve for x. If we have 5 minus x divided by 2x plus 1 greater or equals to 0. Wow, first of all, is our numerator simplified? Yes, we are covered with that. With our denominator simplified? Yes. So factorize? Yes, we are covered with that. Do we have a 0 on the other side? Yes, we have 0. It means that do we have cross multiply? Can we cross multiply here? No. Because why? Because rule number 1 say you can't cross multiply with variables because we don't know the sign, unless we are pretty sure that the sign of that variables it is positive. Because once you multiply with a negative number, you get what? Inequality sign must change. Okay, rule number 1, never multiply with a variable. Okay, I hope we are clear on that one. Wow, how nice. Okay, our numerator is factorized and our denominator is factorized. Then find the critical values. How to find the critical value? Take the numerator and equate to 0 and get our x equals to 5. And the denominator, take 2x plus 1 equate it to 0 and get our critical value and x equals to minus half. Then we have our critical values. Now what is our next step now? Then we have our critical values, x equals 5 or x equals to minus 1. What is our next step now? Use the number line to help us to find the inequality signs. Okay, here is our number line. We have our critical values of minus 1 and 5. On the left hand side I have to put minus half as lowest. On the other side I have to put what? 5 as a bigger number. Now I use my calculator to find the signs there. Okay, from minus 1 up to the left hand side I have to put any number that is less than minus half. I can put any number, minus 3, minus 2, and we substitute there in our equation. Let's say I choose minus 3 there. It means I have 5 minus, instead of x, put minus 3. And on the denominator, I have 2. Instead of x, I put minus 3 plus 1. Then we find the answer. Then you got your answer as negative. That's why you put negative on that side. And between minus half and 5, we have to choose any number. We can choose 0. If we substitute 0, then our equation, if we have 5 minus 0, we got 5. Then the numerator, and 2, instead of x, put 0. It means we have 0 there plus 1. It means the numerator have 5. The denominator I have 1. 5 divided by 1, it is 5. The sign for that one, it is positive. That's why between minus half and 5, I put it what? Positive sign, because we have positive answer there. Then choose any number between 5 and 2 positive numbers. You can choose 6, you can choose 7, any number that is bigger than 5. Then substituting the answer, then you got the negative sign. The most important thing, if we get negative, we have our negative will be positive, negative. As you can see, negative, positive, negative. Once you got negative, negative, we have to know that you did something wrong. You have to get negative, positive, negative. If you got positive, we started with positive, we have supposed to have positive, negative, positive. Okay, this is our number line. Remember the question they say, solve for x if our x greater or equals to 0. Then, now our final answer, x must be greater, because we are focusing on the positive numbers there, greater than 0. X must be greater than negative half, because it is greater than 0. It means we are looking at positive sign now. Between minus half and 5, I have positive sign there, which is where our expression it is greater or equal to 0. Then right here, if expression x must be greater or equals to minus 1, and x must be less or equals to 5. Why there we have greater than half? Because we don't, half must be not included there, because if we substitute half there, we're going to say, if we substitute, instead of, let's say we have 2x multiplied by negative half, if I multiply negative half there, I will got minus 1. Minus 1 plus 1, I got 1. It means I have got 0 in the denominator. If we divide everything with 0, our answer will be undefined. That's why we have what? Our x must be greater than minus half, not or equal to. Then greater or equals to minus half and less than or equals to 5. Wow, how nice is mathematics. Let us move on now to example number 3 now. In our example number 3, solve for x. If we have 4 divided by x less or equals to x divided by 4. Okay, now, do we have a 0 on the other side and numbers on the other side? No. Wow, it means now we have to suppose to have 0 on the other side and numbers on the other side. Okay, can you cross multiply here? No. Rule number 5, say because we have x there and we have x there, we can't cross multiply there because we are not sure the value of x. That's why you can't cross multiply. Wow, what we can do now? Can we take now on the right hand side, can we take x divided by 4 on the other side? Yes, because the rule number 1 say what? Adding or subtracting any number on the left hand side and right hand side does not have no effect on the inequality sign. Wow, let's just continue with this problem. Rule number 5, never multiply with the variable. Okay, then we can take now this one on the other side. Then now we can find our lowest common multiple. What is our lowest common multiple? There we have 4x. Then we take our lowest multiple and we multiply with it everything there. We got 16x minus x squared on the numerator greater or equal to 4x. Now on the other side I have 0 and I have numbers on the other side. Is this simplifying on this one? Can we factorize? Yes, we can find my factors now of 4 minus x on the numerator. We find my factors and got our factors now. What is our next step now? Okay, find the critical values because we have our 0 on the other side and on the other side it is factorized. Then find our critical values. On how to find our critical values, take the numerator, equate it to 0 and take the denominator, equate it to 0. Then we have the numerator equated to 0. Then we find our critical value. X is equal to plus or minus 4. And on the denominator, we take 4x equal to 0. We got our critical value, x equal to 3. As you can see, we have 3 critical values. It means we have to include all of them in our number line. Okay, our critical values, x equal to minus 4 or x equal to 0 and x equal to 4. Okay, now use our number line to find the correct sign of the inequality sign. Here is our number line. We have our minus 4 as lowest, and we have our 0, and we have our 4. Then use our calculator to substitute. You can choose any number from minus 4 up to the number that is less than minus 4 and substitute in your equation there. We can choose minus 5. It means there in our equation we're going to have 4 minus, instead of x put minus 5, into 4 plus, instead of x put minus 5, and divided by 4 instead of x put minus 5. Then we got our, remember we're not interested in numbers, we're only interested in sign. Then we got positive number there. Then you put a positive number. Then you put any number between minus 4 and 0 and substitute, and you get our negative sign. And you put our number between 4 and 0 and you get our positive sign there. And you put our number from 4, the number that is greater than 4, and choose any number. You can choose 5, you can choose 6, you can choose 7. Then substitute in your equation there. Then you get our negative sign. As you can see, our signs there, we have positive, negative, positive, negative. We can't have negative, negative as I can see. Then now you have your number line. What was the equation? Find the inequality sign where our function it is less or equal to 0. It means we're looking what? At our negative number there, because it's less or equal to 0. It means we're focusing at when x between minus 4 and 0, because they were negative there, and from 0, as from 4 up to the positive number. Then we write, you find a final answer, x must be greater or equal to minus 4 and less than 0. Why we didn't include or equal there when we say x greater or equal to minus 4, but here now we said x is less than 0. Why don't put or equal 0 there? Because now our function cannot be equal to 0, because in the numerator, because in the denominator, if we put 0 there, we have 4x, 4 multiplied by 0 which is 0. Anything divided by 0 it be undefined. Therefore that's why you have less than 0 there. Or now our equation there from 4 up to the positive numbers in the increase. That's why we have x greater or equals to 4. This is our final answer for the inequality in example number 3. Wow, how nice is mathematics? Let's just do this thing and enjoy the beauty of mathematics. And let's do our last example number 4. Are you ready for example number 4? Okay, here is our example number 4. Okay, we have our fancy expression like this one. They say solve for x. Wow, how nice. Okay, solve for x on this one. Okay, remember on the other side, can I cross multiply there? No, because the inequality sign, because we don't know the sign for that one, it means I want to have on 0 on the other side and have number on the other side. Then I will test the lowest common denominator, of which is 12, and multiply 12 by fraction with 12. Okay, now okay, I have to simplify this thing. 3 multiplied by x, 3x plus 6 3 multiplied by 2, I have 6. And on the other side, I have 4 multiplied by 2x, I got 8x. On the other side, I have 4 multiplied by minus 7, I have minus 28. Now, can I add and subtract? Can I take add and subtract, like taking minus 8 on the other side and put it on the other side, because I want to have 0 on the other side and I have numbers on the other side. But now I have numbers on both sides, but I want 0. Can I take 8 and minus 8 on the other side? Yes, rule number 1 said adding and subtracting on both sides does not have an effect on the inequality sign. This is our rule number 1. Adding or subtracting any number on both sides of an inequality has no effect on the inequality sign. That's why now I can take minus 5x on the other side. I got negative 3x minus 8x, I got negative 5x. On the other side, I have negative 28. If I take negative 6 on the other side, change sign, it says got negative 34 now. Okay, now I have negative 5x on the other side and I have negative 34x on the other side. Okay, I want to solve for x. Can I divide? Yes, can I divide with minus 5 on both sides and minus 5 on both sides? But they are negative. What happens if I divide it with a negative number there? Wow, how nice. The inequality sign will change because I'm dividing what? With negative sign. Rule number 3. Okay, rule number 3 said dividing by a negative, so so changes the inequality sign. Okay, let's just divide in minus 5 on both sides. Okay, as you can see now, divided by negative 5, I have greater than that. Now I have what? Less than 34 divided by 5. The inequality sign changed because I was dividing with what? With an inequality sign on both sides. This is my final answer for the example number 4. Wow, how nice is mathematics. Such a song is mabudeti umnyama kuvela ukukhanya kwe-maths. Enjoy the beauty of mathematics. Interesting. How nice is mathematics? Okay, this was the end of my lesson, and thank you for your attention. Here are my details. If you need any comments, you want to add, you have any suggestion, you can contact me. Here my email address, melulekshabalala@gmail.com, and here is my number there, 07333 18802. I hope you enjoyed this video, and make sure that you use this rule on the inequalities and know how to approach certain problem and do the example. Once you break certain rules, you won't get answers. Remember, when you are drawing a number line, once you get negative sign, you know that no, I made a mistake. You're supposed to have sign there's a difference on both sides. Then you conclude, you find your inequality signs. Okay, thank you so much for your attention, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Please watch up my other videos, and you have comments, you need some clarity on other topics on mathematics, feel free to call me and enjoy this beauty of mathematics. We want all of us to sing our national song that say how nice is mathematics, and we say failing maths is not an option, and if it was, I was not going to take it. And mabudeti umnyama kuvela ukukhanya kwe-maths. Thank you for your attention.